Facebook messages and braggadocious social media posts helped take down two separate crime rings accused of using stolen vehicles and weapons to burglarize dozens of Denver businesses, including firearm dealers and over 40 marijuana dispensaries. According to federal agencies and local law enforcement authorities in Aurora and Denver and Thornton, two different investigations led to the arrest of over 23 individuals on charges ranging from aggravated robbery to kidnapping. One of the cases, dubbed Operation Say Less, resulted in the arrest of 14 people, while an undergoing unrelated grand jury indictment charged 9 others with similar crimes. In both cases, however, suspects used Facebook Messenger to coordinate operations and sell stolen items, while some of the arrested individuals posted messages regarding large amounts of cash and guns shortly after the robberies took place. Documents from the Denver District's Attorney Office outline a series of sprees that snowballed from one crime to another. Stolen vehicles were driven to pawn shops and dispensaries, which were then broken into and burglarized. Stolen products such as retail marijuana and firearms were then sold or used to further more criminal action. Gabriel Frias, Aaron Cheron, Nathan Perez, Christopher Nereves, and Micah Gordon, as well as Jacob Gregory, Nash Mitchell, Javier Judo, and Charles Lofton, ages 18 to 27, were indicted by a grand jury in connection with their alleged involvement in one crime ring. Another 14 individuals were also 18, and as well as 2 juveniles were charged in the Operation Say Less for participating in similar but unconnected crime sprees. The investigations were led by a task force comprising the Denver District's Attorney's Office, the Denver Police Department, the Aurora Police Department, the FBI, and the ATF, as well as Regional Anti-Violence Enforcement Network and the Violent Criminal Enterprise Task Force, 2 federally led groups that collaborate with local and state enforcements to pursue and prosecute gang activity and violent offenders. An estimated $780,000 in cash and property was stolen by the 2 groups between September 2022 and of November 2023, according to the Denver DA. In Facebook messages and social media posts obtained by investigators, suspects attempted to sell the stolen marijuana and firearms and mentioned using the firearms to commit further crimes, according to arrest warrant and affidavits. One of the firearms is connected to an open murder investigation, the Denver DA office notes. Quote, "Whenever we do these big, complex investigations, it just takes some time because the officers have to get to use different investigative techniques. Sometimes they have to get to court approval for warrants, and you want to take enough time to make sure it's done right," says the Denver DA Beth McCann. Citing open investigation, she declines to elaborate on the specific details of the case. For over a year, from 2022 into late 2023, dispensaries in Denver and Boulder area dealt with approximately 40 reported burglaries, according to case documents. The suspect stole marijuana and related merchandise from metro dispensaries such as Seed and Smith, Elevated Dispensary, The Peaceful Choice, aka now Snacks Land Boulder, Herbs for You, The Joint, Best Colorado Cannabis, Social Cannabis, Spark Dispensary, Trenchtown Dispensary, Pig and Whistle, and stores owned by the Ascended Dab and Native Roots dispensary chains, among others. In at least 3 cases related to the grand jury indictment, burglars even took the ATM machine from the dispensary. They also took an entire store product display, advertisements included, from a dispensary location now known as Jars Cannabis. Pawn shops and vape stores were targets as well, according to the redacted grand jury documents, which claim that 9 individuals part of the street gang that use Facebook to market stolen drugs, firearms, and other merchandise to various groups of scores of users. Enterprise members sold, traded, or otherwise disposed of other stolen items that included marijuana and marijuana products, firearms, jewelry, and vaping products. Other items such as ATMs were discarded after the U.S. currency was extracted from them, the grand jury indictment reads. Around half a dozen Kia vehicles, a common target of thefts in Colorado, were stolen during the crime spree. Many of them were subsequently connected to burglary attempts at dispensaries, according to case documents. The incidents that led to the arrest of the 14 other individuals were even more dramatic. In at least 4 incidents, vehicles were stolen in the middle of the street, with the carjackers allegedly cutting off victims with a white sedan, then jumping out and forcing drivers out of their vehicles at gunpoint. The accused then drove the stolen vehicles to dispensaries in Aurora, Denver, Thornton, and Wheat Ridge, where they broke in and stole cash and product. One of the stolen cars, an Acura MDMX, was reported found at the scene of a June burglary at Best Colorado Cannabis in Wheat Ridge. During the crime, a reported $50,000 in cash was taken from a safe, and marijuana products worth over $40,000 were stolen. Days after the Wheat Ridge heist, Corey Anderson and Jerno Zunga, the same individuals accused of stealing the Acura, allegedly stole a Ford F-150 at gunpoint in Denver on 6th Avenue near I-25 entrance on the early mornings of June 21st. They had a handful of others then used the vehicle to burglarize dispensaries in Denver and Lakewood before the Ford truck was spotted by Thornton police on the night of June 23rd. After officers followed the stolen truck and marked police cars joined the pursuit, they activated their lights and sirens. This led to a high-speed chase through a construction zone and into oncoming traffic, forcing Adams County's deputies to join. After eventually trapping the truck, officers arrested Zunga and K. Marie Humphrey and Jonathan Valencia. Multiple firearms and retail marijuana with packaging numbers traced back to one of the burglarized dispensaries was found in the vehicle. Zunga was eventually released but got back to work according to his arrest warrant. On July 21st, he and Anderson and an unknown suspect reportedly stole a Honda CR-V at gunpoint in Aurora. Apple AirTags that were placed on the vehicle by its owner helped police trace the stolen CR-V to the Native Roots Dispensary on South Santa Fe Drive in Denver, where an attempted break-in had just been reported. Investigators used cell phone data to place suspects at the location and time of the crimes, making their job easier. Some suspects posted themselves holding guns and large amounts of cash on Facebook shortly after the burglaries were reported. Denver dispensaries and growing operations have been constant targets for burglaries and even armed robberies since recreational pot sales began in 2014. According to a 2023 report from the Denver Department of Excise and Licenses, there was at least 162 instances of criminal offenses against the local marijuana industry last year, accounting for 0.5% of the city's total crime report. Of those 162 offenses, 156 were burglaries, while larceny accounted for the other 6. Because of marijuana's federal prohibition, pot-related businesses are technically banned from using bank credit card processing and other financial services. Those institutions worry about the possibility of federal drug charges. Although some smaller banks and credit unions will take on that risk for higher fees, the majority of dispensary transactions are still done in cash, and that's why it makes them targets. Quote, most stores don't have their own ATMs because they can't use credit cards and banks. So I think it does make dispensaries more likely targets for these kind of burglaries. In some cases, they just take the whole ATM, says McCann, Denver DA. I think we were a little surprised by the number of burglaries of dispensaries because we haven't seen a huge amount of crime around the marijuana dispensaries. But this indictment and filed case demonstrate that there were more going on than we were necessarily aware of. According to McCann, firearms and federally prohibited substances like marijuana have strong resale value on the black market, so she can see why they're attractive to criminals. Quote, obviously it has been lucrative endeavor, so this is really good news that we're able to break it up, she adds. Given what we found through this investigation, there should be some emphasis on solving these kind of crimes when you've got organized groups like this. The DA's office recently put out an emphasis on tracking drugs and gun distribution, according to McCann. She's hired 2 prosecutors and 2 criminal investigators since 2022, all of whom are targeting illegal drugs and gun rings. Now they some dummies right here. You know, you getting on Facebook, that got to be the dumbest shit you could ever do is get up on here. And you know, it's crazy because this day and age, you know, this generation, you know, they'll hit a lick, they'll do some crimes, and they go straight to the internet with all of it, though. You feel me? They'll go straight to the internet with all this shit right here. But, you know, it is what it is, though, at the end of the day. You know, all these cats right here look like they was born in the 2000s. Like, I'm looking at the names of all these cats and the faces and everything, right? And, you know, they've all been born in 2002, 2003, 2005. Like, these is kids, though. You feel me? Like, these is really kids. I went to prison in 2004. So, I mean, good Lord, these kids was born, you know, damn, like, good Lord. But they all crashing out, though. They all crashing out on some dummy time. This is straight dummy time right here. Back in the day, you wouldn't hit no lick and go tell nobody about it. You know what I mean? You hit your lick and keep that shit moving. And I ain't endorsing no hitting licks or none of that. But I mean, Man, it's all bad when, that's the thing that you're doing out there. You hitting a lick just so you can go post on social media to get some likes from some motherfuckers that's really probably haters. You know what I mean? Most motherfuckers that follow you on social media, they don't want to see you shine. They might like your post, but on the cool, they hoping your ass fall. But I get it, though. I mean, this is the day and age for all this shit right here. This is the 2K baby shit. But y'all tell me what y'all think down there, man. Y'all think these cats was in the wrong for hitting these licks and doing this shit, or what y'all think? Y'all let me know below. Gone.